Imagine unlocking a phone and it's already done loading the thing you were about to open, like it's reading your mind. That's not a fantasy from a sci-fi movie. That's where Samsung's Galaxy S26 Ultra is heading, and it's not just because of a faster chip. This year, Samsung is pulling off something most people don't even talk about, a massive leap in RAM technology that could quietly make this the fastest, smoothest Galaxy ever built. And if you think that's the whole story, oh no, we're just getting started. Welcome back, viewers. James here. If you love being first to know what's really going on in the tech world, hit like, share this video with your fellow tech lovers, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the big stuff. So let's start with the heart of this performance jump. The S26 Ultra isn't settling for good enough. It's ditching the older LPDDR4X memory we saw last year and moving to the newest and fastest LPDDR4X variant Micron has ever made. Numbers-wise, we're talking 10.7 gigabits per second compared to last year's 9.6, an 11% bump. That might not sound life-changing on paper, but in real use, it's the difference between your phone keeping up with you and your phone making you wait. Apps pop open instantly, AI features respond in real time, and heavy multitasking feels almost frictionless. But here's the clever part. This isn't just about speed, it's about efficiency. Micron's using their 1-in-1 gamma process tech for this RAM, claiming up to 20% less power draw compared to the previous generation. But that means this 26 Ultra can push harder without burning through your battery like a gaming laptop on turbo mode. And yes, gamers, that's your cue. Longer sessions without that battery anxiety creeping in. Now here's a little engineering magic. This new RAM is just 0.61 mm thick. That's thinner than a credit card's edge, and it opens up room inside the phone for bigger batteries, larger camera sensors, or even new cooling systems. You see where this is going, right? Samsung could use that extra space to pack in hardware upgrades they haven't even teased yet. But the story gets juicier. Samsung actually has its own LPDDR5X chips, even smaller, built on a 1nm process, but last year they hit a snag. Overheating issues forced them to source most of their S25 Ultra RAM from Micron instead. This year, if those thermal problems are fixed, we might see Samsung go back to its own chips. Will it happen? That's one of those only Samsung knows secrets right now. But here's the thing, even if they stick with Micron, you're still getting top-tier speed and efficiency. Pair all that with the upcoming Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 and the S26 Ultra becomes a different beast entirely. We're talking console-level gaming smoothness, 4K video editing on the go, and AI enhancements that don't just run, they fly, real-time translation, object removal in photos, complex video effects, all happening faster and with less waiting around. And while everyone's still catching their breath from the performance talk, Samsung drops another surprise, a camera upgrade that's more about brains than brute force. Instead of slapping on a giant new sensor and making the phone bulkier, they've gone with an ultra-large 1.4 aperture on the main camera. That's a jump from last year's 1.7, and it lets in about 47% more light. At night, that's huge. Think sharper detail, richer colors, and videos that look almost cinematic even in dim street lighting. This is a smart move because the sensor itself was already excellent in daylight. The one place Samsung still had room to dominate was low light, especially video, and this could be the upgrade that pushes them ahead of Apple in that department. The best part, they pulled it off without making the camera bump obnoxiously big, which means the phone can actually be thinner and lighter. Speaking of design, leaks suggest the S26 Ultra will be a touch slimmer overall, with cleaner lines and an even more refined feel in hand. Combine that with the efficiency gains from the RAM, and you've got a phone that's both faster and easier to hold for long periods. But Samsung isn't stopping with just one star player this year. The S26 Edge is making a comeback, and it's not just for nostalgia's sake. This thing is rumored to be only 5.5 mm thick while still housing a 200 mAh battery. If that's true, it's basically an engineering flex to the rest of the industry. And yes, it'll rock the same Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 brain as the Ultra, so you're not sacrificing performance for style. Now here's where it all ties together. The faster RAM doesn't just make your apps open quicker, it also makes AI-driven tasks smoother, camera processing faster, and even helps with cooling since the phone spends less time working at max load. This means longer gaming sessions, smoother 8K video playback, and less heat buildup when you're pushing the phone hard. If you think about it, Samsung's strategy here is almost like building a race car. The chip is the engine, sure, but the RAM, that's the gearbox. If the gearbox shifts faster and uses less fuel, the whole machine runs better. And in a world where phones are more about multitasking, live AI processing, and high-res media than ever before, that's exactly the kind of hidden upgrade that can make last year's model feel outdated overnight. So, by the time we see the official launch, expect Samsung to hype the Snapdragon and the camera upgrades. But don't be surprised if the real magic is happening quietly, behind the scenes, in the memory that makes all of it possible. That's why the Galaxy S26 Ultra could very well be the Android flagship to beat in 2026, and maybe the first phone that truly feels like it's keeping up with you instead of the other way around.